If I talk about specific terminology of Snowflake, so what happens in Snowflake? Snowflake's architecture is mainly divided into three layers. First one is cloud services layer, then compute layer, and last one is your storage layer. Okay, so in the storage layer, all of your storing of all of your physical data is stored in storage layer. Okay, whatever tables data and everything whatever you are creating, everything is getting stored in storage layer. Okay, and this storage layer consists of, if I talk about AWS, if suppose during creation of your Snowflake account, if you have selected AWS as your partner, okay, what will happen? All the database objects whatever you creating in the storage layer, okay, it will get stored in the AWS S3 bucket. Okay, so all the data will be stored in your storage layer. Now if I talk about in Snowflake, storage and compute both are decoupled. Okay, now, and this compute layer is responsible for your virtual warehouse. Okay, so now if I talk about cloud services layer, this is responsible for all of your metadata objects and grants, privilege, whatever you are doing. Everything is getting or you can say that login of your database, everything is getting managed by this cloud services layer. Now in this video our focus is mainly on compute layer. Okay, so what is this compute layer? This compute layer consists of your virtual warehouse. Okay, now, so whenever you are creating any whenever you have created your account, what will happen? By default, this compute underscore wh, this warehouse would have been by default assigned to you by Snowflake. Okay, now, so if I talk about in real time projects, so you cannot use this compute underscore wh warehouse to all of your whether whether it is your development environment, sit uat prod. Okay, in that case, in real time projects, the account admin or system admin is supposed to create separate warehouse, okay, for separate users, separate roles. Okay, and depends on environment to environment. Now, so how we can create warehouse, and what is the size of warehouse which we need to keep in mind. Okay, so let me go to my account admin role. Okay, so one more thing, so this warehouse can be created by this. If you see, by default I am having account admin role. Okay, so account admin and this system admin, so both these two roles can create your warehouse. Okay, and other roles, these are the system defined role, 1 2 3 4 5 6. Out of these 6 roles, only these two roles can create your warehouse. Okay, and but in real time project, what we need to do, we need to create some custom role. Okay, and those custom roles are supposed to uh, granted to users. Okay, now here let's focus on account admin role. Okay, so to create the warehouse, what we can do, we can go to account admin, and you have to click here. Okay, admin. So in admin screen, if you see, you are having option of warehouses. Okay, let me click on this warehouse. Okay, if you see, these are the number of warehouse which admin is able to see. By default, this is the warehouse which has been provided in our Snowflake account. These are the warehouses which I have created for testing or learning purpose. Okay, now, so let me click on this warehouse button. Okay, so test warehouse 01 I have created. Okay, now let me put some comment here. Okay. Now, if I talk about type of warehouse, so there are mainly two types of warehouse, virtual warehouses in Snowflake. One is standard, another one is Snowspark. Okay. So initially, only standard was provided by Snowflake. So I think from the last year onwards, so they have provided Snowspark optimized, Snowpark optimized. So what is the difference between this? For in most of the project, we are using standard warehouse. Okay, but in case your project uses this Snowflake for your machine learning purpose or artificial intelligence purpose, so very high memory application, intensive application, so in or if you need very high compute power, in that case we have to use Snowspark optimized. But make sure the whenever you are selecting the Snowpark optimized, so costing of your Snowflake will get higher. Okay, so that's why we are supposed to select mainly standard. Now, if I talk about size, So this provides Snowflake size of warehouse in t-shirt size, like x small, small, medium, large, extra large, okay, 2x large, okay, till the 6x large it is providing uh, two size of warehouses. Now, so why we have to say, why by default we are selecting extra small? Because it uses I can say that credits means like what is the cost associated with those warehouses. Okay, okay. Now second thing, if you select a small warehouse, what will happen? It will use 2 credits per hour. Okay, it means size or computation power of that warehouse would be little bit higher than extra small. Okay, so in this way depends on your project, we are supposed to select, but by default we are supposed to select extra small. Okay, because for our use case it is sufficient. Now let us go to advanced options. Okay, this is a very good feature in Snowflake. If you first thing, if you see auto resume or auto suspend, so what will happen in case whenever as a user you are not working on any of your warehouse, or you have logged into as a user and you have opened your worksheet, what will happen? So after inactivity of few minutes or few seconds, okay, what will happen? It will get auto suspend and auto resume whenever you click on that thing. Okay, if you see automatically resumes the warehouse when any statement that requires a warehouse is submitted. Okay, in this way auto suspend also. Okay, so minimum what we can do, we can auto suspend after 1 minute. Okay, but suppose if you want to auto suspend after 30 seconds, so from here you cannot do. So for that case you have to create warehouse through query, that I will show you in separate video. Now let's focus on this multi-cluster warehouse. So as we know that like cloud projects provide a pay per uses, okay, and depends on the load you can add or remove clusters or warehouses. Okay, so this is called multi-cluster warehouse. So what will happen? Suppose we have selected extra small. Okay, and now if I am selecting, by default it will be single cluster, but if I want multi-cluster, so what will happen? So let me go here. Okay, so minimum cluster 1, maximum cluster 2, what will happen? So depends on the load. So what suppose your query is taking huge time or huge computation power, or if it is in queue. So in case you have selected multi cluster warehouse, so so what will happen? A new cluster, or you can say that a separate and another extra small warehouse will get started, and your query will start using that thing. Okay, the maximum cluster you can select 2 3, but I think 3 clusters is sufficient. Okay, minimum cluster 1 and maximum cluster 3. Okay, now scaling policy. Scaling policy, there are two types of scaling policy in Snowflake, for multi cluster: standard and economy. What standard will do? Standard policy will do, suppose you have executed little bit high query okay, so what will happen? Automatically if any of the queries coming in queue, next cluster will get started and you will get query performance better. But in that case what will happen? In case you are selecting standard, so suppose your first cluster uses 50%. Okay, and suppose new query comes, what will happen? Your next cluster will get started and your query will start running on next cluster, next extra small warehouse. But what will happen? For that costing will get also increased. But in case of economy, what will happen? Whenever your first cluster consumes complete credits, then only next cluster will get started and you will get consumed. And one more thing, so whenever your query load completes, automatically your clusters will get closed. Okay, so this is the difference between standard and economy. This query acceleration, it is mainly for performance purpose, so no need to too much worry about these things. But this is the important thing for our warehouse. Okay, let me click on this create warehouse. If you see in a very if you see here, it is only one of 3 cluster is active. This is for 2 clusters of warehouse. Okay, and it is having only one cluster running of one cluster. By default one cluster will get run. Okay, now if you see I have created just now. Okay, if I, this is for comments. Okay, if I want to suspend, drop, all these things I can do it here. Okay, now I have created this warehouse. Now suppose how I can use this warehouse in my query and my worksheet. So let me go here. Okay, let me open a worksheet, SQL worksheet. If you see, I am in the new worksheet. By default, I have logged in as account admin, and my role is compute. This warehouse has been assigned to me. Now, if I want to use my this test warehouse, I can just go and easily click on this thing. Okay. Now, if I don't want to click on this, what I can use that you which query I can perform? Use warehouse test warehouse 01. If you see, so whenever I have selected now, in my current session, this warehouse would have been activated. Now let me see, okay, whether it is coming or not. Select current warehouse. So test warehouse is coming inside this worksheet. No matter it is not coming showing here, but by default uh, it has been selected. If you see here, I'm not sure why it is not getting clicked automatically, but in this worksheet, by default, all the queries whatever you are running, it will run in under using the compute power of this warehouse. Okay, I hope it is clear to you. Now one more thing. Suppose you have created this warehouse, okay, or let me go to system admin role. Okay, if I go to the system admin role, so let me go here. Okay, now warehouses, if you see that warehouse I am not able to see, so how I can get privilege to see that warehouse? Let me go to account admin again. Okay, worksheets, and this is my worksheet. Okay, so what we can do, this was our, okay, what I can do, grant users on warehouse test warehouse to system admin. Okay, now let me go to system admin. If you see, I'm able to see this test warehouse as a system admin role. Okay, now if I want to query any of my worksheet, so what will happen to me as a system if you see, let me go to system admin role, system admin. So I will able to see test warehouse 01. I can go and select this one. Okay, now we have created this warehouse through user interface. Now uh, if I want to create this warehouse through my queries option, okay, so if you see here, in this way, system admin or account admin role can run its query. If you see here, create or replace warehouse, compute wh, let me try to wh04. Okay, with warehouse type, standard warehouse size, maximum cluster count, minimum cluster count, scaling policy, auto suspend. So as I told, with the help of your user interface, you can select auto suspend feature to 60 minute, a minimum of 1 minute. But if you want to keep it less than that, what will happen? 20 seconds. If I want to keep, let me see if it's allows or not. Yeah, if you see, after inactivity of 20 seconds, what will happen? This warehouse will get unused. Okay, if you see here, uh, I think 20 seconds has been passed, so it is showing gray area. Okay, let me run sub query. Sorry, let me grant user on compute. Let me see. Okay, now so we have discussed so far about this creation of warehouses through uh, user interface. Okay, so I hope we discussed most of the use cases of warehouse. One more thing, so what about costing of warehouses? Or suppose you have logged into your Snowflake account, so in case suppose what in case like you are working on any of query, what will happen for initial of 60 seconds? you will be costed, okay, based on your warehouse size. So suppose like I have logged into my warehouse first time, okay, or in my Snowflake window, and what will happen initially for 60 seconds, okay, if I am running any of the query. So if I see, okay, I will close this window, what, nothing will happen, because for initial 60 seconds my credits will get consumed based on my uh, type of warehouse or my type of account, okay. And after that, after 60 seconds, what will happen, it will be paid per second uses, but for initial 60 seconds it will be, by default it will be costed, okay. So that's all from this video. Thank you.